Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and the first time I tasted the white mango was in Brunei a couple years ago. Funny thing is, back then I traveled through Borneo for 2 months and found only once a white mango in Brunei. Well, the next year I found it a lot in Kalimantan, but this year again I crossed all of Sarawak, almost all of Sarawak, without finding it. Only when I approached the state of Brunei did I find the first white mangoes. And then later I found a lot in the part of Sarawak around Brunei. I found a couple in Brunei. And those are from Lawas, the part of Sarawak which is between Brunei and Sabah. Well, also what was quite interesting, everywhere else on the market I've seen those brownish white mangoes. But here I could see those. I even saw a couple trees along the roads, and the mangoes were hanging in bunches looking almost like banana hands. Well, the ones on the trees were the pale color. And then I saw also some spotty ones, like half of the skin was green and half was brown. So I thought, okay, those are the least ripe ones, those are the really ripe ones, especially this one with the dark brown skin. And the spotted ones are some intermediate thing, of course. Yeah, like look at that, this pretty unripe, this more ripe, and this really ripe. Okay, I thought it's quite simple. They are selling white mangoes of different age. A lot of them are not being used for eating out of hand like other mangoes, but they use them for sambal or hot sauce. And then when I was in Lawas on the market, I saw a bag full of those and a bag full of those, and I said, well, can I have a mixed bag? Yes, of course you can. What are the names? Well, one is Belunu and the other one is Binjai. I forgot already which is which, but I have the information somewhere on my phone, so I will add it in the description. Sorry folks, I'm so confused that I even forgot the names of them. But what she also said is that this one here is sweet, well, this is sour. Well, this intrigued me a lot because I thought that this is just the unripe form of this one. So what is this stuff? Well, Belunu and Binjai are both names commonly used for white mangoes, especially for Mangifera kemanga or the kemang. But there is another famous white mango, the wani. Well, white refers to the inside, the flesh is white, while most other mangoes are yellow. Well, the wani will usually have a thin, smooth skin. Let's see, is the skin more smooth than this here? Nope, the smoothness, definitely no difference. Thin skin. Also thin skin, interesting. So smoothness and skin thickness, no difference. So why do they use two different names for them? And why do they say this is sweet while this is sour? Usually the wani is more sweet, while the kemang is something like an acquired taste. Okay. When I cut them, I cut into the seeds. The seeds look quite different, quite colorful actually. Yeah, this one, look at it. The inside of the seed is kind of pinkish. The black hue is from my knife. My knife rusts whenever it just smells water. But the colors are quite interesting. Also, this one seems to have a seed which seems to bleed a lot of pale liquid. Well, this one bleeds tiny droplets of white liquid. Strange. Also, the one to the right, no, I thought it's a little bit more fibrous. Well, the fruit on the right are a little bit more elongated, could be from a different tree. Could also just be two different varieties of the same tree. Let's try them. The brown is supposed to be sour. It's completely ripe, so it should be as sweet as possible. Actually, a nice balance between sour and sweet. Not bad for a kemang. This one should be sweet. Well, they are right. This one is sweet and tastes completely different. What? This stuff is good, folks. It's sweet and mild and also softer flesh. I don't want to say I didn't believe her, but I found it hard to believe. But this stuff here, why is this stuff so tasty? How shall I describe it? Sweet, almost no sourness, and with some flavor, which actually reminds me of artificial fruit flavor. This stuff is good, folks. Really good. Yeah, this one, although not bad, it's really an acquired taste. Pretty sour. A fully ripe one is kind of sweet, but there is also this very heavy kemang flavor, which is not everybody's favorite. But this one, almost no kemang flavor. It reminds me of a pear. The pear flavor is missing, but everything except for the pear flavor is there. Softness, juiciness. Like a really ripe pear without pear flavor. Even the skin looks like a pear skin. Interesting, folks. Could this be Zamwani? Actually, this one has a pretty smooth skin, but this one is a slightly more rough skin. I'm quite confused, folks. So this one, I'm still sure it's the kemang. It looks like a kemang, it tastes like a kemang. But could this be a wani? Please tell me what you think, folks. Is this the wani? Yeah, this. Okay, in this one, the flesh also seems to be more firm. Still quite of soft, but in this one, it's really like an overripe pear. Yeah, this could be a wani. I didn't expect this to be a wani. But yeah, now I would say, yeah, this is most probably a wani and not a kemang. Well, yeah, okay, the pale skin is also quite typical for a wani. Really yummy. You don't get a lot of value for money. Look at the size of this giant seed. You get less than a centimeter of flesh, and the seed is not flat like in other mangoes, but round. Look at that, quite a big seed. The skin is quite thin, you don't lose a lot there, but the seed takes up about half of the volume. Yeah, so for now I would say this is the kemang, and this is most probably the wani. Tell me if you think I'm right. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. What else could it be? Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful island of Borneo. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.